Never awaken humanity, the elders said, and someone didn't listen. Sci-fi Ethan Brooks stared out of the viewport at the endless black of space. The stars glittered like tiny sparks in a vast ocean. For years he had worked on Harper's Reach, a small human colony at the edge of explored space. Life was quiet here. Humans kept to themselves, mining minerals, studying alien signals, and trying to survive on a world far from Earth. Ethan leaned back in his chair. He could hear the soft hum of the station around him. Engineers moved quietly, making small repairs. Outside, robotic mining drones floated, extracting rare metals from the asteroids nearby. It was routine. Too routine, he thought. And sometimes routine hid danger. Olivia Grant, the communications specialist, walked into the control room. She carried a tablet and frowned. "Ethan, the sensors are picking up something strange," she said. "Signals from deep space. I don't recognize them." Ethan stood up. "How far?" he asked. "Far enough that it's not just a passing ship," Olivia replied. "And the signals are encrypted. I tried to decode them, but the patterns are strange, almost deliberate." Maya Collins, their security officer, came in behind Olivia. She had a hard expression on her face. "If it's aliens, it might not be friendly," she said. She always spoke plainly. Nothing she said suggested panic, but her tone carried weight. Humans listened when Maya spoke. Lucas Price, the xenobiologist, joined them. He always carried a small notebook and scribbled things even when it seemed pointless. "Could it be a new alien species?" he asked. "One we haven't contacted before?" Ethan shook his head. "We don't know," he said. "But we need to be careful. We are on a small colony, far from Earth. If someone wants to attack, they can hit us before anyone knows." Olivia tapped her tablet. "I'm sending the data to Earth Command." "They should tell us what it is." Ethan nodded, but he felt a small knot of worry in his stomach. Something in her voice made him uneasy. He could not explain it. Something about the signals felt wrong. For days, the colony continued its work. Robots mined, machines hummed, and humans lived in careful routines. But every night, the signals grew stronger. They pulsed like a heartbeat, slow and steady. Olivia and Ethan spent hours trying to understand them. Maya and Lucas helped, but the tension in the station was growing. One morning, the colony received a message. It was brief and alarming. "This is Varun Combine. You are on our path. Leave or face consequences." Ethan read the message 3 times. His hands shook slightly. "Varun Combine," he said aloud. "They are a rising alien power. They don't negotiate. They take what they want." Maya's jaw tightened. "Then we prepare to defend," she said, "no matter what." Lucas frowned. "But we are just a research station. We have minimal defenses." Ethan nodded. "I know, but we cannot panic. We need to use what we have." "Ah, now. Stay calm. Stay smart." That evening, Ethan walked through the colony corridors. He watched the colonists. Families lived in small apartments, children played in artificial parks under protective domes. No one understood what was coming. The humans on Harper's Reach had always felt safe. Earth was far away. Help would take days to arrive. He reached the control room. Olivia was working, trying to boost the station's communication systems. Maya checked weapons and defense turrets, even if they were old and outdated. Lucas monitored sensors, analyzing the alien ships moving closer. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A deep rumble shook the station. Ethan rushed to the viewport. Outside, he saw it. a fleet of ships unlike anything humans had built. Sleek, black, and angular, they moved in formation with precision. Hundreds of lights blinked along their hulls. The Varoon had arrived. "They are here," Ethan said quietly. Olivia's face went pale. "We need to send a message now. Tell them we are human. Tell them we are peaceful." Maya shook her head. "Peaceful doesn't matter. They don't care about peace. They will strike." The first shot came without warning. A beam of light sliced through space and struck the outskirts of the colony. Dust and debris flew as alarms sounded. Ethan's stomach dropped. They were not coming for negotiation. "Everyone to shelters!" Maya shouted. "Protect civilians." Ethan grabbed his emergency kit and ran. Olivia helped guide the children and older colonists to safety. Lucas stayed behind, helping people with injuries. The colony's emergency defenses activated. Shields glowed faintly as the station tried to protect itself. The aliens fired again. Small ships darted down toward the surface. Ethan could see them through the viewport. They moved like predators, precise and fast. The humans fought back as best they could. Old mining lasers were turned toward attackers. Defense turrets tried to intercept the shots, but it was clear. The Varoon had the advantage. Maya led a group of trained personnel through the tunnels beneath the colony. They moved quickly, setting traps and blocking corridors. Ethan helped reroute power to emergency generators. Olivia kept communications open, sending repeated messages to Earth. Lucas worked in the medical bay. He treated injuries from the first attack. Panic and fear were everywhere. He tried to calm children, giving them small toys and stories. But he, too, felt the tension. The Varoon were not just attacking. They were sending a message. As the day ended, the human defenses managed to hold the aliens back from the central habitat. The station was damaged, but not destroyed. Ethan looked out at the sky. The fleet hovered above, waiting. "We need more than defenses," Ethan said to Maya. "We need a plan. We cannot just survive. We need to fight smart." Maya nodded. "I have some ideas. We can use the tunnels, the old mining drones, and the terrain. But it will not be easy." Olivia's hands shook as she typed. "I'm trying to get Earth to send help, but they are slow. We are on our own for now." Lucas looked at the viewport. The Varoon ships reflected the light of the nearby sun. "They are studying us," he said quietly, "waiting to see what we do next." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then we give them something they will not forget. Something that will make them think twice before targeting a human colony again." That night, the humans on Harper's Reach did not sleep. They worked, planned, and waited. Outside, the Varoon fleet remained in orbit, confident and unafraid. They did not know that the humans were beginning to awaken in ways they could not imagine. Small lights flickered in hidden tunnels. Machines hummed in corners of the colony where no one expected. Old weapons, long thought useless, were prepared. Drones designed for mining were modified for defense. Ethan and his team worked through the night, not resting, not stopping. By dawn, the first human countermeasures were ready. The Varoon, observing from above, would see them soon. But they could not yet understand what it meant. Ethan stood at the viewport again, watching the alien ships. He whispered quietly, almost to himself, "You should have listened to the elders. Never awaken humanity." Outside, the stars did not blink. The silence of space hid the danger. But somewhere deep in the human colony, a spark of something old and powerful began to stir. It was slow, but unstoppable. And the galaxy was about to realize that the humans they thought weak were not what they seemed. The sun rose over Harper's Reach, casting a pale orange light on the damaged colony. The human shelters were quiet for a moment, only the hum of emergency systems breaking the silence. Outside, the Varun fleet floated like dark clouds above the world. They had expected a quick victory. They had underestimated humans. Ethan Brooks moved through the tunnels beneath the colony, checking on the defensive systems. Emergency lights flickered along the walls. The mining drones had been repurposed as patrol units. Their metal arms were reinforced, equipped with small energy emitters that could cut through alien hulls. It was crude, but effective. Olivia Grant sat in the control room, her fingers flying across the console. She was trying to send a message to Earth, but interference from the Varun ships made communication difficult. She gritted her teeth. "They're jamming us," she said. "But I'm going to get through. Someone has to hear us." Maya Collins was inspecting a group of volunteers, mostly civilians trained in emergency defense. They carried makeshift weapons and shields. "We cannot fight them head-on," she said. "We have to use the tunnels, the terrain, and our traps. Make them waste time and resources. Every second counts." Lucas Price moved quietly in the medical bay. Injured colonists were treated as best they could. The panic was heavy, but Lucas tried to remain calm. "We can't lose hope," he said to a small group of children. "Humans are smart. Humans survive." Outside, the Barun began their second attack. Small fighter ships dove toward the colony, shooting with precision. Their beams cut into buildings and machinery, sending sparks flying. But the humans were ready. From the tunnels, Maya's team triggered hidden defenses. Explosions erupted in narrow corridors, catching the Varuan fighters off guard. The drones patrolled the outer edges, firing back at enemy ships. It was not enough to destroy the fleet, but it slowed them. Ethan worked with Olivia to reroute energy from damaged reactors to shield generators. Sparks flew as circuits overloaded, but finally, a faint shield surrounded part of the colony. It was not full protection, but it kept some buildings safe. The Varuan were growing frustrated. They expected minimal resistance. Humans were weak, they had thought, but the colony fought back with every tool they had. In a control room deep underground, Ethan, Maya, Olivia, and Lucas met. They needed a plan. "We can't just defend," Ethan said. "They will keep coming until we are destroyed. We need to fight smart." Maya nodded. "We can use the mining tunnels. They don't know the layout. We can trap ships and drones in narrow paths. They will lose numbers if they chase us there." Olivia looked at the communications console. "I can send a signal to Earth. Ask for help. Maybe some of their fleets are nearby." Lucas shook his head. "Help will take time. We cannot wait. We need to survive until then." Ethan thought for a moment. "We use what we have. Every machine, every drone, every corridor. The Varun do not expect humans to be clever in defense. That is their mistake." They worked quickly. Civilians helped move supplies. Engineers reinforced tunnel walls. Maya taught volunteers how to fire and retreat safely. Lucas prepared emergency medical kits. Olivia kept sending messages to Earth, repeating the colony's situation. Hours later, the Varun launched a large strike force. A dozen ships descended toward the colony. Their weapons fired in synchronized bursts, cutting down buildings and machinery. Sparks and fire erupted across the surface. From the tunnels, Maya's team launched traps. Explosives hidden in maintenance corridors exploded under enemy ships. The narrow paths caused the ships to collide. Mining drones swarmed the remaining fighters, scratching their hulls and damaging engines. Ethan worked tirelessly in the control room, rerouting power to critical systems. "We can hold them," he said, more to himself than anyone else. "We have to hold them." She finally got through to a small fleet of human ships orbiting near the outer rim. "We are under attack," she said. "Civilians are hit. Colony at risk." "Send help," the fleet replied. "Understood. Reinforcements en route." ETA 36 hours. Ethan clenched his fists. 36 hours. Too long for the colony. But any hope was better than none. The Varun realized the humans were more organized than expected. Their fighters hesitated, confused by the traps and ambushes. Ethan watched the tactical displays. Small numbers of human-made drones and repurposed machines were destroying ships, forcing the enemy to retreat. Maya led a small strike team out of the tunnels. They moved silently, avoiding enemy sensors. Using mining equipment as weapons, they disabled a Varun scout ship on the ground. The team worked with precision, moving quickly and disappearing before the enemy could react. Lucas moved among the injured. He treated burns, cuts, and shock. "You are brave," he said to the children hiding in the shelter. "Brave humans always find a way." Hours passed, and the Varun adjusted their tactics. They began to fire larger beams, targeting the colony's main power grid. The lights flickered, alarms rang. Ethan and Maya worked together to divert energy, keeping critical systems alive. "We cannot let them destroy the main reactor," Ethan said. "If it goes down, we lose everything." They rerouted power from non-essential systems, sacrificing lights, heating, and some communications to keep shields online. Sparks flew, machinery groaned, but the colony survived. Olivia finally managed to send a clear message to Earth. "Harper's Reach under attack," she said. "Civilians hit. Emergency status. All units respond immediately." The Varun fleet observed the humans carefully. They had expected easy prey, weak and unprepared. But the humans were clever. Now, they adapted. They fought back in ways the Varun had not seen before. Ethan stood at the viewport, watching enemy ships retreat. "They think they can scare us," he said quietly. "They are wrong." Maya joined him. "We cannot stop now. They will come back, stronger. But we have bought time. We have survived the first day. That is something." Lucas came up behind them. "And we will survive the next," he said. "Humans always survive." Night fell on the colony. The fires from the first attacks burned in the distance. The sky was filled with the dark shapes of alien ships hovering above, but the humans were not afraid. They worked through the night, repairing, preparing, and planning. Ethan, Maya, Olivia, and Lucas gathered in the control room. They looked at the tactical map. Drones were repaired, tunnels were reinforced, emergency shelters were stocked with supplies. The colony was ready to fight another day. Ethan spoke quietly. "They think they have awakened fear in us. But humans do not give up. We adapt, we fight. And we survive," Maya nodded. "Tomorrow, we hit them in ways they do not expect. We use every machine, every trap, every tunnel. They will regret underestimating us." Olivia smiled faintly. "And Earth will come. Help will arrive. They will see what humans can do when threatened." Lucas looked at the viewport. The stars shone faintly, but the Varun fleet remained. "They do not understand us," he said. "They never will." The first day ended, and the humans on Harper's Reach rested briefly. But in their sleep, their minds were not idle. They dreamed of strategies, of machines moving in harmony, of traps that would surprise the enemy. Their instincts, their training, and their will combined into something powerful. Above the colony, the Varun fleet waited. They assumed the humans would break. They assumed they had nothing to fear. They had been wrong once. They would be wrong again. And deep within the colony, Ethan Brooks whispered, You should have listened to the elders. Never awaken humanity. The humans of Harper's Reach were awakening. Not fully yet, but soon. And when they did, the galaxy would see what it meant to challenge humanity. The Varun fleet hovered over Harper's Reach, dark and silent. They had expected a short fight. One day of attacks should have been enough to break the humans. Instead, they were alive. Their ships were damaged, their drones destroyed, and their fighters scattered. The humans had survived the first day. Now the humans were ready to strike back. Ethan Brooks stood in the command room, watching the tactical screens. Every ship, every drone, every trap was displayed. "They think we are weak," he said quietly. "But they are wrong." Maya Collins moved beside him, her eyes sharp. "We have studied their movements, their patterns, their attacks, their mistakes. Tomorrow, we hit them in the tunnels and the narrow passes. We force them into traps where their numbers do not matter." Olivia Grant worked at the communication console. "Earth is sending reinforcements," she said. "They will be here soon, but we cannot wait. We must act now." Lucas Price looked over at the injured colonists. Most were recovering, but some were still weak. "We will fight," he said. "Humans always find a way." The night passed quietly, but the humans did not rest. Engineers repaired damaged drones. Civilians were trained to use tools as weapons. Maya led volunteers through practice drills in the tunnels. Ethan rerouted power to defensive systems and reinforced the shields. Olivia monitored the Varun fleet and calculated their movements. Lucas prepared medical kits for the upcoming battle. At first light, the Varun launched a second wave. This time it was larger, more organized, more aggressive. Fighters dove toward the colony, weapons blazing. Energy beams cut through buildings and machinery. Explosions shook the ground. Sparks flew. The humans could not withstand a frontal attack for long. Ethan gave orders quickly. "Divert all power to the tunnel traps. Activate the hidden drones. Everyone, stay calm." Maya's team moved through the tunnels, waiting. Explosives and energy nets had been placed in strategic corridors. Mining equipment was transformed into barriers and automated weapons. The humans were ready. The first Varun ships entered the tunnels. They expected an easy path. Instead, they were met with fire from hidden drones and energy nets. Explosions shook the walls. Some ships collided in the narrow corridors. Others were forced to retreat. Ethan watched the tactical displays. "Good," he said. "They are falling into the traps." Maya led a small strike team alongside tunnels. Using mining tools and handheld weapons, they disabled smaller ships. Their movements were precise and quick. They appeared, struck, and vanished. Olivia kept communication lines open. She sent messages to Earth Command, updating them on the colony's status. "We are holding the tunnels," she said. "Varun ships are being destroyed or forced back. Reinforcements must hurry." Lucas treated injured volunteers. Despite burns and cuts, morale remained high. "Humans fight smart," he said to a group of children hiding in a shelter. "We use our brains and our courage. That is why we survive." Outside, the Varun fleet grew frustrated. Their numbers were useless in the narrow tunnels. They began targeting the entrances, firing larger beams to collapse the passages. But the humans had reinforced them. Energy shields held, walls withstood blasts, and explosions outside were redirected. Ethan spoke to Maya through the comlink. "We need to hit them harder. The tunnels are working, but we must force them into panic. Use the drones to chase them into traps we haven't activated yet." Maya replied, "Understood. We will lead them exactly where we want." The next hours were chaotic. The Varun ships fired relentlessly, but the humans fought back with ingenuity. Old mining drones dropped heavy rocks on the enemy ships. Automated cutters sliced hulls. Energy nets immobilized fighters. Civilians using makeshift weapons attacked boarding parties. Ethan monitored the fleet from the control room. "They don't understand humans," he said quietly. "They underestimate our resolve. That is their mistake." Olivia calculated trajectory and power flow. "We can disable half their drones with the mining lasers if we target the engines directly." Maya and her team moved again through the tunnels. They activated hidden explosives, forcing the Varun ships to retreat into traps. Beams cut through hulls, engines exploded, and ships were destroyed. The humans had turned every weakness into a weapon. Lucas moved quickly, treating injuries from both civilians and volunteers. "Hold on," he said. "You will survive. Humans always survive." The Varun fleet commander, Karel, watched the tactical screens. His eyes narrowed. "Why do they fight like this?" he asked. "They are weak. They should surrender." And Aide shook his head. "They are organized, sir, efficient. They use every machine and tunnel. They adapt quickly." Karel's face darkened. He had read the ancient elder warning, "Never awaken humanity." But he had dismissed it. Now he saw the truth. Humans were not weak. They were dangerous. On the colony surface, Ethan, Maya, Olivia, and Lucas regrouped. The humans had retaken control of several key positions. The Varun were being forced back. Some of their ships had been destroyed, others disabled. Maya spoke to Ethan. "We need to push them further. If we force them to retreat from the colony, we can secure our home and buy time for reinforcements." Ethan nodded. "We will do it, but carefully. Every trap, every drone, every corridor counts." The humans prepared for a coordinated strike. They had learned the Varun patterns, their weaknesses, and their tendencies. Drones were modified for precision attacks. Civilians were trained to operate defense systems. Volunteers prepared ambush points in the tunnels. When the Varun launched their next wave, they found themselves surrounded. Ships moving in formation were caught in narrow tunnels. Fighters were trapped by energy nets and explosives. Larger ships could not maneuver and were struck from multiple angles. Ethan watched from the command room, heart pounding. "We are winning," he said, "but we cannot stop. We have to push them back completely." Maya led a team into the tunnels, striking enemy ships with mining equipment and handheld weapons. "Move fast," she shouted. "Hit and vanish!" Olivia coordinated drone attacks. "Engage all targets," she said. "Disable engines first, then weapons." Lucas treated the wounded quickly, keeping morale high. "You are brave," he said to the volunteers. "Every human here fights with courage. That is why we survive." The Varun fleet commander, Karel, realized the humans were not just defending. They were attacking strategically. His ships were being destroyed faster than he could replace them. He called a retreat, but the humans anticipated it. Drones and traps blocked escape routes. Some ships were captured, others destroyed. Ethan, Maya, Olivia, and Lucas watched the fleet scatter. They had inflicted heavy losses. The humans had survived, adapted, and fought back. The Varun had underestimated them. Ethan spoke quietly. "They thought they could scare us. They thought we were weak. They were wrong." Maya nodded. "They should have listened to the elders." "Ah." "Never awaken humanity." Lucas looked at the tactical map. "They will not forget this, and neither will we." Olivia sent one last message before the fleet disappeared. Harper's Reach secure. Varun retreating. We survived. Reinforcements from Earth will arrive soon. The humans on the colony celebrated quietly. They had fought, survived, and won against a stronger enemy. They had used intelligence, courage, and creativity. The Varoon had learned that humans were not weak. Ethan stood at the viewport, looking at the retreating enemy ships. He whispered, "They should have listened to the elders. Humanity is not to be underestimated." Maya joined him. "We have won today, but this is only the beginning. They will come back, and next time, we will be ready." Lucas smiled faintly. "We always are. Humans always survive. And when we fight smart. Earth is sending help. But even if they didn't, we would hold." This is what humans do. The night fell over the colony. Fires from damaged ships burned in the distance. The sky was still filled with stars, but humans looked up with pride, not fear. They had survived, adapted, and defeated the enemy in ways that no one expected. Deep in the tunnels and hidden workshops, the humans prepared. New traps, new drones, and new weapons were being built. They were ready for the next attack. The Varoon had learned the first lesson. Humans were dangerous when cornered. Ethan whispered again, almost to himself, "Never awaken humanity." They should have listened. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, other fleets of the Varoon and different alien species began to take notice. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be underestimated. Humanity was awakening, slowly but with power. The galaxy would soon understand that warning. Never awaken humanity. The sky over Harper's Reach was quiet in the early morning, but humans were not idle. They had survived the first attacks, adapted to the Varoon tactics, and now they were ready to take the fight fully to the enemy. Every machine, every tunnel, every human was prepared. Ethan Brooks walked through the control room. The tactical map glowed with dots representing drones, traps, and the positions of enemy ships. "Today," he said, "we show them what it means to awaken humanity." Maya Collins nodded. "We will not wait for them to strike. We will force them to retreat completely. Every move is planned. Every corridor, every drone, every trap counts." Olivia Grant checked communications. Earth reinforcements were still hours away. "We cannot rely on them." "We fight with what we have," she said. "But that is enough. Humans always find a way." Clucas Price prepared medical stations. Injuries from the previous fights had been treated, but more were expected. "Stay calm," he said to the volunteers. "We are ready." Humans are strong when they fight together. Above the colony, the Varoon fleet appeared again. Larger this time, more organized, and angrier. They had underestimated humans before. Now they intended to crush the colony and send a message. Ethan watched them approach. They still think numbers matter. They still do not understand humans. Maya moved her team into the tunnels. They had prepared new traps and weapons, all designed to exploit the enemy's overconfidence. Automated drones hid in narrow corridors, ready to strike. Mining equipment was modified into barricades and cutting machines. Explosives lay in wait at key points. The first Varoon ships descended toward the colony. Their weapons fired, cutting through buildings and the remaining structures. But the humans were ready. From hidden tunnels, Maya's team activated energy nets and explosives. Several ships collided or were destroyed before they even reached the main habitat. Automated drones attacked from above and below. The Varoon were caught off guard again. Ethan directed the control systems. "Focus on engines first, then weapons. Disable them without losing our drones." Olivia monitored communications. "Earth fleets are closer, but we don't wait for them. We finish this ourselves." The humans moved with coordination. Drones and volunteers struck in perfect timing. Civilians, trained for defense, operated weapons and helped repair systems instantly. The Varun were slowed, confused, and frustrated. Lucas moved among the injured, treating burns and wounds quickly. "Stay strong," he said. "You are part of humanity's strength. Every life here matters. That is why we survive." The Varun fleet commander, Karel, was furious. He had read the Elder warning years ago but dismissed it. Now he saw the truth. Humans were not weak. They were clever, coordinated, and relentless. "Pull back!" Karel shouted. "We are losing too many ships." But the humans had anticipated retreat. Traps blocked escape routes, mines forced ships into narrow passages, and drones attacked from multiple angles. Some Varun ships were captured, others destroyed. Every move by the humans was calculated, precise, and deadly. Ethan spoke to Maya through the comm link. "They are retreating, but we must not let them escape easily. Every ship counts. We cannot allow them to regroup." Maya nodded. "We will force them to retreat beyond this system. Then they will understand. Humans are not to be challenged." The humans pressed the attack. Mining drones pushed larger ships into traps. Volunteers fired from hidden positions. Automated cutters sliced through hulls. The Varun fleet's pride crumbled. They had believed humans would be easy to scare. They were wrong. Olivia's fingers flew over the console. "We can disable their last line of ships before they escape the system. Focus fire on engines and weapons." Lucas treated the wounded volunteers who were returning from successful strikes. "Every human here is part of the victory," he said. "Every mind, every hand, every heart counts." Karel watched as his fleet was destroyed or disabled. The Varun soldiers panicked, some surrendering, others trying to escape in damaged ships. He finally realized the full meaning of the Elder warning: never awaken humanity. Ethan stood at the viewport, watching the last of the enemy retreat. He whispered, "They should have listened. Never awaken humanity." Maya joined him. "We have won, but this is only the beginning. Humans will defend their home, and anyone who challenges us will face the same." Outside, the colony was damaged but alive. Fires burned in some areas, but shields held, and the main habitats were intact. Civilians emerged from shelters, cheering and hugging each other. The humans had survived. They had fought back. They had won. Olivia sent a final message across open channels, reaching every nearby alien fleet and the Galactic Council. Harper's Reach secured, Varun retreating. Humans defended their colony and survived. Let this be a warning: never threaten civilians. Never awaken humanity. Across the galaxy, messages of the battle spread. The Elder's warning, once dismissed as myth, became reality. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be underestimated. Karel, captured in the battle, asked a human officer why they had not destroyed his entire fleet. The officer smiled faintly. "Humans do not seek war. We fight only when necessary. But when we do, we make sure no one wants to challenge us again." Ethan, Maya, Olivia, and Lucas regrouped in the control room. They were tired, injured, and relieved. The humans had defended their home and taught the galaxy a lesson. Lucas spoke quietly. "They will tell others. They will remember this day. Humans are strong, clever, and relentless when cornered. That is who we are." Maya nodded. "And we will continue to be ready. Never again will anyone think humans are weak. We fight smart, we fight together, and we survive." Ethan looked out at the stars. The Elders were right. Never awaken humanity. But now, the galaxy knows what happens when someone does. Olivia smiled. and Earth will send reinforcements soon. But we did not need them this time. Humans fought, survived, and won on their own. The sun set over Harper's Reach. The colony was rebuilding, civilians helping with repairs, and children playing in repaired parks under protective domes. Above, the stars shone quietly, but the galaxy had changed. The humans were awake, and their strength and intelligence were no longer a secret. In hidden chambers across human space, old ships were being prepared, drones were being upgraded, and humans trained in secret. The awakening had begun. Deep in the archives of the Galactic Council, the Elder Warning was updated. Words once ignored were now etched in every fleet's code. Never awaken humanity. They adapt, they fight, and they survive. When humans rise in defense, they make sure no one ever dares to threaten them again. Harper's Reach was safe. Humans had defended their home, and the galaxy would never forget the day they learned that humans, once cornered, are a force beyond reckoning. Ethan whispered quietly to his team one last time. They should have listened. Never awaken humanity. Maya smiled. Now they know. And the humans of Harper's Reach and humanity as a whole stood ready. Ready for peace, ready for survival, and ready for the day someone dared to test them again. The stars blinked in the dark sky, but somewhere, deep in the void, every alien fleet now understood. Humanity was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same again.